Hey everybody, welcome to week 3 of ECE 115, Family, Community, and Early Education. We're moving right along. We're over the halfway mark, so please be aware we've got some deadlines coming up. This week, you should be already almost finished with your active listening assignment. That's where you were to write a short journal Monday through Friday of how good or poor you did with active listening. It's a great reflection. And also, you should be working on 2 newsletters, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute. This week, we're going to focus on building family partnerships. And I know we've been talking about this in our weeks before, but this week's we're looking at more specifics of how we could accomplish this. So first, let's look at exploring personal identities. So what makes you you? And of course, this translates over too into what makes every child them as well. So what all goes into making you you? If we look at the center section here, we start with the basics. The things that people can see fairly easily are age, race, ethnicity, gender, physical abilities, maybe our sexual affection orientation. So this is the center of our personality. Then if we branch out into the petals, we have the income. How much money are we making a year? Our marital status. Do we have military experience? Because that changes the way you view a lot of things. What are your religious beliefs? Where do you live? In the country, in the world. What's your parental status? Are you a single mom or dad? Are you married? Are you divorced? All these things make an impact. What's your education level? Do you have your GED or high school diploma? Do you have your bachelor's degree or your master's degree? And lastly, what is your work background? Because every job that you have had in your life goes into helping you make decisions and helping you reflect on future jobs as well. Even if it's a bad job, it makes an impression and sometimes helps you with decision making. So those are kind of what makes us us, all of those things. Next, everyone in your classroom, everyone around you should feel, first of all, safe. Secondly, welcomed, and thirdly, valued. And we talked about this in our discussion boards and some of our assignments last week, and you guys had some great reflections on that. Next, teacher attitudes. We also brought this up as well. How do teacher attitudes help us form family partnerships or form conducive family partnerships? Well, first of all, there's the concept of professionalism, which we talk about in every one of our ECE classes, and kind of what makes you a professional. Everything from how you speak, how you fix your hair, how you dress, how you act with other people goes into how you are as a professional. So we have to look at that image. Next, what is your sense of self? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it someplace in between? Do you have a sense of humility? Because here's the thing, we all make mistakes, and sometimes we have to own up to those mistakes and say, hey, I realize I did this incorrectly. I made the wrong call there, but I'm going to improve. I'm going to do better in the future. Do you have compassion for your students in your class, for the families, for the people that you work with as well? Do you have respect for others and trustworthiness? And that trustworthiness comes up quite a bit. And again, I've seen that in a lot of our assignments from last week. Next, what are some of the barriers to family partnerships? Sometimes there's a teacher reluctance. We don't even want to admit that, but we get in our classroom and we've got our little world in our classroom, and sometimes we're very reluctant to bringing other people in and letting them be a part of that. So sometimes teachers can be the cause of that. Parent reluctance as well. Sometimes parents are reluctant to step forward and come into the classroom or ask if they can help with, say, activities or functions that are going on. Sometimes we have power issues. We always have to remember the parents are the main people here. They're the decision makers, and we have to realize that they have the most authority in a child's life. So we can't get into a power struggle with them. It's just not conducive. And then trust issues as well. Do you trust the parents? Does the parents trust you? Okay, so those are just a few barriers. What are some of our basic communications? When we're dealing with basic communications in the classroom, this might be in writing, this might be in person. First of all, we want to be warm and sincere. Parents should feel that as soon as they walk up to you, when they drop their kids off in the morning, and when they pick them up at night. Second of all, this is a big one. Smile a lot. Even if you're not a smiler, you've got to learn how to do it. You know the old saying, fake it till you make it? Well, if you smile enough, eventually that smile will be genuine. So remember that. It makes a big impact. In writing, when you send things home or when you put things up in the classroom, if you make them in color, it will be a little more eye-catching. If you put in a graphic or two, again, people might notice it a little more, want to read whatever this is. And using borders on your material, fairly easy. You can buy paper that has a border already printed, and sometimes that's cheaper than printing a border on your printer and using that valuable colored ink. Okay, so sometimes we can work around that, but we want to make our communications interesting. With our verbal communications, here's a few points of where these verbal communications are going to happen. So at orientation or open house, this is where you make the big first impression. The classroom should look great, you should look great, and you should be smiling and happy and open and welcoming. A welcome call is fantastic before the student even enters your classroom. So when you have identified a child that's going to be new to your classroom, go ahead and make that first step, that welcome phone call, so that the parent and the child feels even more welcome. And just get to know you a little bit before you even meet in person. Parent centers. So we may have a parent center in our classroom where information is gathered and easily accessible, or maybe you've got a parent center in your daycare. One that comes to mind for me is with Educare. They have a room set aside that's specifically for parent resources. It includes books, information on behavior, on child development. There's also computers available so that parents can use those computers for whatever they need to get done. Also, they address issues such as nutrition and community resources. So they have a whole room devoted just for that. That's fantastic. Parent volunteers and an involvement is a great chance for verbal communication. And I've stated before, it's important that we put this out there, that we are interested in having parent volunteers and giving a date and a time when we would love to have these parents show up. Get-togethers for the classes, another fantastic time. Maybe you'll have parents that can help bring in snacks or just help with activities. Home visits, some centers do this where you actually do an outreach to the home itself. Parent visits to room, parent bulletin boards, again, a source of information. And then you'll have regular conferences where you get together and set some goals for the semester or maybe just the month or the week in general. So lots of different opportunities there. Okay, positive phone calls. I know I've brought this up before, but before the first day of school, call to introduce yourself. That's a positive phone call. When student performs positively in class, maybe they've had a fantastic day, that's a great chance to make this positive impact and highlight what that child's done for the day. When the child applies himself in a special way, maybe he's developed a new skill. When students show improvement, maybe they're doing better in math or in science, if these are early grade school children. Or when student is absent for a day or two, making that phone call to let the parent know that you care and let the child know that the classroom is missing them. Very important. Communicate through correspondence. So what are we going to put in writing? Here's a few things we might type out. A welcome letter to the classroom is great because then the parents can refer back to it as needed. A classroom calendar might be sent home monthly with what's going on, when the activities are, and over here we've got an example that even includes spelling words, what they're learning this week, upcoming events, reminders, and contact information. It's important that you're always putting this out there. The parent should easily be able to contact you and easily be able to get this information to know what's going on. Special activities in the form of a newsletter or a calendar, and always include contact information. Even if you've typed this out a million times before, it might be that one little piece of paper laying out that has your phone number or your email on it that makes a difference. So be sure you do that. In week 3, we have an assignment of completing 2 newsletters, and the good news is you get to pick what age groups you would like to do. You're going to choose 2 different age groups. So, for instance, out of this list, you might choose to do a newsletter for a toddler group and then also do a newsletter for a 2nd grade group. The information that you put in that newsletter is going to be a little different for each of these age groups. So you should have a little different focus, a little academic focus, and a little different activity focus as well. So pretend like you're a classroom teacher in 2 different age classrooms. So research online. There's lots of different newsletter templates out there for free. Also, there are newsletter templates on Word, and I believe in Google Docs as well. You can decide what specific type of information to include in your newsletter. It should be eye-catching, easy to read, but be sure you do include that contact information, okay? I want that on there. Weekly communication folders. A lot of teachers use communication folders, a simple folder that goes home either every night or the end of each week. Their child brings it home. You might have a brief update of what's going on in class. You might have work that they've submitted through the week or maybe art projects. And you might have a form there where the parents can easily communicate with you as well. So another form of communication. Active listening. We always want to focus on active listening with our parents, both verbal and nonverbal. And I realize that body language came up in a few assignments as well. So these are things you think about. Reflect back on what's said. Paraphrase what the parent has said to you. Focus on what they are saying. Actively listen. Don't just be ready to say something back. You want to actively listen to what they are saying. Show interest with your body language, and sometimes this is just a matter of leaning forward a little bit more so that you're making eye contact and they feel like you're in this together. Look at communication other than words as well. So you're not just listening to the words, you're looking at their body language as well. What to say when you're calling about a problem. These are going to come up. Begin with stating the problem, why it's concerning, describe the specific behavior, describe the steps that you've taken in trying to solve the problem, give all the information that you can to the parent, present your solutions to the problem, but also allow them time to present their ideas for solutions as well. So express confidence in your ability to address the problem, then be sure to do follow-up contact on how things are going. Lastly, parent-teacher conferences. You must be Timmy's dad. I'm Timmy's teacher. Realize that we're in this together and sometimes it's stressful. At parent-teacher conferences, we want to set up a goal, have a planner sheet, Have a comfortable, quiet setting. Don't give them the little kid chairs. You want them to feel equal to you. Start with a positive note, be honest, summarize what's going on, and develop goals and strategies for this specific child. And again, be sure and follow up if it's something we're working on, okay? You guys have a fantastic week 3. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.